So they are known for this kind of cultural setting. And today, PrabhuJi is here. Yesterday I was discussing with PrabhuJi the topic. PrabhuJi has given topic. How to accommodate ourselves in the changing, or my journey within Krishna consciousness in the changing ISKCON scenario. So PrabhuJi is going to give a lot of practical tips to us on Krishna consciousness and the philosophy how we can practice. So let's welcome PrabhuJi, the youth gathering by loudly and chanting Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for the kind words. And my wife is a very good cook. And one Prabhupada disciple said, Madhusudan, you will never lose weight because of her. So I've got somebody to blame, you know. On a lighter note, yeah. Can I have the fan, please, if you don't mind? I want a fan. Okay. So we've had a long journey in the ISKCON movement. My wife and me came about 33 years ago. 33 years ago. And the scenario, of course, before our time, I want to tell you how ISKCON was even Prabhupada days. And after Prabhupada left, it was extremely an organization-centered society. What was important was the organization after Prabhupada left. So the temple president, there were instances where the temple president would tell somebody, hey, you marry that Mataji. And the devotee didn't have a choice because it was all about surrender, right? That means you're not surrendered. President is your authority. He's telling you, you marry so-and-so, you marry so-and-so. You don't like her, you don't like her face, you don't like the way she is, but you have to marry her. That was the situation in ISKCON at one point of time. Another situation in ISKCON at that time was, and through the ages we carry some residue, some leftover of that stuff sometimes still goes on. Okay. I mean, it's an individual decision, but somebody else is making it for you. Certain decisions are extremely personal and one should go with his heart. Take guidance in a practical way, but you have to go with your heart, not who the temple tells you to marry. Another thing in ISKCON in those days was, ISKCON meant shaved head, shikha, dhoti, kurta, dowry. Americans said dowry, kurta, kontimala, tilak, correct? So, and living in the premises, in the ashram. If you're not in the ashram, you're in Maya. So somebody said, outside the temple wall, if you're outside the temple wall, you're in Maya. Dude, you're in Maya. And you blooped. That was another term used in ISKCON. I don't know if you all have heard the word blooped. Huh? This is a very unique ISKCON term. When somebody leaves, they'll say bloop. Like Alvi's gone into the water, so bloop. It's very spaced out. These are all special ISKCON terms, Like sometimes in business I use it. I say, sorry, I got spaced out. Spaced out? What's spaced out? All innovative terms, right? ISKCON is the ultimate innovative place. So in those days it was like that. And then, of course, then many Prabhupada disciples became grihastha, staying outside. And even when we were there in the 90s, so we were in Hare Krishna Hill, and I told one devotee, it's a Sunday evening I don't come. Even now I don't go to the temple on Sunday. Sunday is children time, wife time and everything, So he says, where are you going? So Sunday morning we should be in the temple, and evening, I would say, evening I'm not going anywhere. So he said, where are you going? So my daughter was a little girl that time, and I said, I'm taking her to the park today. And then the brahmachari told me, that's Maya. So we've seen those days in ISKCON. Now gradually the ISKCON scenario has widened. The way we look at, now ISKCON is not only a geographic location. In fact, Prabhu had a question, where's Vijay Prabhu's not here, right? Yeah. Oh, you're there, yeah. Okay, you had a question yesterday, which I assimilated as that he was thinking surrender to Krishna means being full-time and in a center, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? Sorry? It wasn't like that. So I could perceive that question as meaning that now I'm surrendering to Krishna, so I'm inside the temple, either here or wherever, whichever center is a... Sorry?
All the ashramas, not one.
So it's not a geographic location, it's a consciousness. Okay, so you can be anywhere in the world doing whatever you want and you're an ISKCON devotee. Okay, so I'm going to touch upon a few points where I feel the assimilation of our philosophy, because I've been through that journey. I've been through that journey of assimilating the philosophy in a fanatical manner, in a manner which had extremely high standards, like Goswami standards, and if I didn't live up to it, then I'm a bad guy. So I've been through this journey of feeling horrible about myself. Okay, because I'm comparing myself with some standard. Now you heard this verse, Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Oh my God, no other desires except service to Krishna. But Banu Maharaj clarified that for me, many years later in ISKCON, where he said that this verse actually means that your practice of Krishna consciousness is not with a particular motive. But it doesn't mean that we are free of desires. And this is Kali Yuga. So I still look at myself and say, man, I've got so many desires. So there should be a conflict in my mind all the time. Hare Baba, I've got desires. And I used to move around being ashamed of those desires. Anybody feels that way? You feel like that way. You feel ashamed of your desires. Yes. Correct? Yes. You feel ashamed? No desires. He's made it. He's made it. Shuddh bhakti hai. Idhar aa jao bhai. Idhar aa jao bhai. So, then I read a quotation of Charlie Chaplin. Like, desire is what you're made of. Desire is life. Okay. So I realized one thing, that it's to put a lid on those desires. So I've got this long list of desires, So, and then it's there, actually everything's there in Prabhupada's books. So one of the purports of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada actually mentions what will repression achieve. So as long having a desire is actually your life force that keeps you alive. And when you put a lid on it, or you put a kartal on it and shut it, okay, you close that, you shut that desire, and you're trying to escape from it. There won't be a feeling of liveliness in the person. Something inside you you're suppressing something. Something inside you dies actually. And then you'll notice that this, and in ISKCON, I would really want you all to discover things and not wait for 25 years for it to happen after 25 years. Because we've seen that, people practice in a certain way, live in a certain environment, and after 25 years they say, man, this is not working for me. I'm going home. Okay. So one has to be very honest with oneself. We're going to have a Mataji coming in the next few days, and her punchline always is, let's be honest. Devaki Mataji. Okay. And somewhere he's the one, he's my, what do you call it? What's that software where you have all the Prabhupada missing? Database. So Vijay Prabhu is like not database, it's called something, Veda-base. So Vijay Prabhu is my go-to person, he's like, the Veda-base guy. So there's one verse which says, for men who are thoroughly honest. There's one translation in the Bhagavatam.
Nagva visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam avattati api namani anantasya yasho ankitani yat shrunavanti gayanti garanti abhi.
So, for men for people who are fully honest.
1.5.10.
Okay, I told you, Veda-base. Okay, no, I want to share, I'm going off the topic because these are the journeys I've been through. Now, I'm supposed to be senior to Vijay Prabhu in many years, in many ways. Okay, he's younger than me and things like that. No, he knows this verse so beautifully and I don't know this verse. Okay? So one of my traumas, why you've not seen me around, okay, I'm sharing my heart with you, why you've not seen me around giving class, one of the traumas for me used to be, boss, if somebody asks me a question and I don't know, I'll look very odd. And they'll say, 30 years, what has this guy done? He's just saying 30 years. He doesn't know the answer. Okay. But no, I've got over that. Because no, I feel okay, it's okay. I don't know those verses. So it's okay, it's fine. So let me contribute in my way. I mean, there's something for everyone to share. So let me share in my way. I don't know the verse. And luckily there's somebody in the audience who knows the verse. So instead of envying him, instead of comparing with him, I collaborate with him. collaborate कर लो यार. So this in the ISKCON journey now there will be many moments where we create comparison. Correct. Man, like the other day, yeah, Rakal Prabhu told me, Prabhu, I'm reading 100 pages a day. Okay. So that's a great cause for discomfort for anybody else. I'm reading 100 pages a day. Yeah, I'm reading like maybe a couple of pages every few days. And this guy is reading 100 pages. So this comparison is a beautiful thing to feel unhappy about yourself. So then you go back and you go home and then you can, you see the instances. So some core devotee of yours is going in a Lamborghini, full speed in Krishna consciousness, and you're going on a cycle, and the chain of the cycle also falls off. And you're struggling with it. So then how do you look at yourself? Then you look at yourself and you say, oh my God, I am no good, yaar. अरे ये बंदे तो क्या कर रहे हैं यार? अरे वो look at that guy, यार. He's on YouTube and he's giving lectures. Yeah, so and so. Gaur Gopal had come here and I was having some fun with him. And so he's got some 25 lakh followers, and I had about, I think, 10 followers. So I told Gaur Prabhu, I'm also doing some little social media stuff, YouTube and all that. I'm only 24 lakhs 99,990 followers behind you. So if you want to lose your peace, no, start comparing yourself. That first thing is you lose your peace. अरे वो बंदा परसों आया, अभी तो हमारा ये लीडर बन गया. अरे ये बंदा तो 6 महीना पहले अभी तो वो प्रेसिडेंट भी बन गया. मैं तो इधर का इधर ही हूँ, आता हूँ कोई प्रसाद भी नहीं खिलाता यार. क्यों मैं आओ खिचड़ी खत्म हो गया प्रभु जी, मैं क्या करूँ. So everybody's got their own pace, their own journey. And there's a letter of Prabhupada where he's telling a devotee, don't become morose. Don't become morose. That will spoil everything. It's a letter of Prabhupada. He says, don't become morose, it will spoil everything. So whatever situation we are, we should be extremely grateful that we see you're on the right road. All of us are on the right road. So somebody's riding a bicycle, somebody's going in a fast car, but you're there on the road. So stay on the road, be grateful, accept. This is a part of being honest, is actually accepting ourselves completely the way we are, rather than camouflaging it, covering it, closing it, pretending. Because then if you're not happy with the way, so be extremely acceptable. Love the way you are with all your defects. There should be a deep sense of acceptance that this is the way I am, a very real acceptance. So there's no pretension. Because the ISKCON, the Goswami standards are extremely high. There's one quote in the Bhagavad Gita where I think Yamunacharya says his lips curl in distaste when he thinks of the opposite gender. Correct? He's a shloka. Bolo. Okay. So now as young guys, I'm saying I'm putting myself in your club, the young guys club. So for us, my lips don't curl in distaste. Okay. So we had this joke when we were on Hare Krishna Hill. There used to be a very senior devotee, and he was very real. He was very real guy. It was very fun being with him. So saying, see, Prabhu, we are not in that category. Okay. He's saying, when a beautiful Mataji goes by, we'll be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. So he used to crack this joke. So we have to be very real about what's in our heart. Actually, Krishna knows. We can't hide that. Anyway, we can't hide it. But when we know what's really there in our heart, we know we can work on it. We can work on the cleansing process, and depending on how much dirt is there and how much cleanliness is going on, it will take its time to be completely clean. Now, when it comes to desires, like some people said you're dealing with desires, right? How many of you all had desires, have desires? Yeah. So to very practically deal with the desire, don't sweep it under the carpet. I shot a video on this and put it up. So if the desire is legitimate, it should be a legitimate desire. Legitimate desire means it should bring some good. And because we have different ashramas, we have grihasthas, we have brahmacharis. So what I speak may not be applicable to everybody. It will be applicable to some people. Some of you all want to be brahmacharis all your life. Some of you all maybe want to become grihasthas, businessmen, engineers, astronauts, whatever. So this will be applicable to. I mean, take it if it's applicable. You apply what works for you. Apply what works for you. So I look at it this way, that when you have a desire, is that desire going to bring some good to people? Like somebody has a desire, Bangalore is the place of startups. Come on, everybody wants to do a startup. Is that desire going to bring some good to other people? Like making impact in the world, some service. Is it going to do good for you? Will it do good for you? And then that desire, Prabhupada's famous words in history will be dovetail that in Krishna's service. And of course, balance that so that, your life is not disturbed. Because sometimes when we go after something so much, then we forget, about chanting our rounds and, actually having a peaceful. Krishna consciousness is a beautiful life. Like I spoke to the Hindi group a few days back, and I told them, it's a spiritual sandwich. So morning you have your chanting, and you're getting up, waking up, and you're dedicating your morning hours to the Supreme Lord, and you come back home in the evening, and again there's some time with the family and the Supreme Lord, who's actually the boss of your family, and in between you have your vocation, your occupation. So it can be a very sublime life. So another thing I want to say is that, how many of you have heard of Ikigai? It's a Japanese term, Ikigai. Okay, so since it's going to be interactive, I want somebody else to explain what is Ikigai. Who would like to explain? You will explain, Prabhu?
Mike. Yes.
I think it's about doing what you love.
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah, go on.
That's
Yeah.
about
Okay.
doing what you love.
Doing what you love. Prabhu, you had something to add?
How we can impact society,
How it can impact society? Any in here?
Purpose of life.
Sorry?
Purpose of life.
Purpose of life. Now, everyone has a nature. Like Arjuna had a nature of being a warrior. And this nature, if you don't live with that, if you don't fulfill yourself on that nature, dedicating it to Krishna, you're going to feel very unfulfilled. A person feels extremely unfulfilled, And I've noticed that in my journey, because I'm a person who wants to do something, I want to be out there. So if somebody gives me a feedback and say, now my name is Madhusudan Haridas, live up to your name Haridas, and sit and chant some 108 rounds and be in one place, I'll go crazy. Okay, I'll absolutely go crazy. I mean, no, it won't work for me. I need to practically go out there and do something creative, and something which gives me some joy. We can't ignore that. So, Ikigai is a concept that there are 3 points. It's a Japanese concept. One they say is, what is it that you love to do? You love to do and you're good at it. You're good at it also. You're just absolutely, it's fun. Okay, and the second thing is, what does the world need? Because this is related to also making money. So what does the world need? So they make a circle, then another intersecting circle. What does the world need? What you have to share. Let's say you're an artist. You're a beautiful painter. Does the world need art? Yes. For many people, the world needs art. And the third circle is that, is the world willing to pay for it? Because eventually you need to have a livelihood. Need to make some money also. And the intersection, that is the Ikigai. Something which you love to do, something you're good at, something the world needs, and something the world is willing to pay for. Okay? And in our Hare Krishna movement, Anant Vallabha Prabhu mentioned this in the class, and it was very, very, enlivening for me. So Prabhupada asked one devotee, I don't know if you have heard that, like, what do you want? He said, Prabhupada, what can I do for Krishna? What can I do? And Prabhupada says, no, you tell me what you want to do. He says, no, you tell me, Prabhupada, what do you say I'll do? He says, no, you. Prabhupada says, no, you tell. You think over and come back tomorrow and then tell me what you want to do. So that devotee goes, and the next day he comes back and he tells Prabhupada that, I've got this idea of making this fiber mridangam. So this was, maybe about 40 years back. And till today that fiber mridangam is there in ISKCON. It's all over the place. People use the fiber mridangam because the mud one, falls, breaks and all that.
His Grace Lochanananda Prabhu.
Lochanananda Prabhu. So Prabhupada engaged that devotee in the propensity he had. So rather than brushing our propensity, our actual nature, our ikigai under the carpet, we need to discover that. So my grouse, frankly, that I'm part of the management, but I feel many managements ignore that. Okay, we've got a standard formula for everybody. We have a standard formula for everybody. But if you dig very deep into each person's heart, what does he really want to do? What he's got a propensity for, what he's really good at, and engage him in Krishna's service, he's going to have a fulfilled life, and he's going to be a great asset to the movement. He's going to move things. So exercise number 1, I want you all to, if you don't have paper and pen, I want you all to tell me what you feel you're good at and what you really like to do. Somebody may want to do cooking. In those in Prabhupada times, there was a devotee who was Kurma Prabhu. Okay, so Kurma Prabhu was a fantastic cook. Fantastic cook. He's an Australian, and I'm not sure if he's got restaurants or what he's got now there, but an amazing cook. He used to come on Star Plus television. He used to come on Star Plus years ago on a cooking show, and he was amazing. He'll be talking about cooking, and then you add this and you add that, and all the cooking was without onion, garlic. He's on Star Plus. He used to have tilak and his dhoti kurta, and in the back we used to watch that. Behind him, he had a picture of Krishna. So he wouldn't speak about that on the television, but behind him there's a little picture of Krishna. So he loved cooking. So I want you all to actually shout out what's something inside you which you love. Painting, music. What do you all love? Music. What kind of music? Huh? Okay. Now we got one customer. Okay, I'm going to work on him. Okay. You like Indian classical music or you like Western music? Both. That's a good answer, because generally the path the devotees take, which will sound more devotional? Okay. Which answer sounds very devotional and I look good in people. Are Baba, kya ye to bhakt hai. So a normal ISKCON devotee with all. See, we have conditioning when we come to ISKCON, and when we come to ISKCON, we have another conditioning around us. Again, there is conditioning. So we don't express ourselves there. So I'm very glad you like Western music, I love it. So he's expressing himself. Yeah, I like this kind of music. Okay. So otherwise we'll say, no, I like Indian classical. Ragas, I like ragas. Okay. So, Prabhupada's time, there were a lot of bands, beautiful bands. In fact, now I wonder, where are all those people with their talent gone? There are no new bands coming up. The youth are not...
So many of them.
Huh? There are bands? Or maybe I'm out of touch. Huh? Yeah. Okay, what else do you like? Something you like? Tell me, I want you to shout out. What do you like? See, we are hesitant. What do you like?
I want to conduct big events. I like events management. Big events.
You want to conduct. So you want to speak at the event or you want to only organize at the event? Both. Okay, that's a beautiful thought. You want to speak an event with how many people in it? Huh? You got 10,000 people, 20,000 people?
Right, I had a dream of that, we should organize something in the Chinnaswamy with 50,000 people.
Okay, no, that's a beautiful thought. Okay, this thought is amazing. So I have a mentor in the speaking industry who I take some coaching from, and he probably holds like a world record where he's spoken to 70, 80,000 people at a time. And not only does he speak, he's an inspirational speaker, and he says you should do something which you love. If something which you love, you'll do it even for free. If I invite you to a stadium with 70,000 people, you'll do it free. And then my mentor says, but you do it so well that people are willing to pay you for it. How's that? You get paid also. Then you give 50% check here, okay? Yeah. Okay, now this dream of yours, I really wanted to hold it in your mind. Really nurture it. And start in some way or the other. You know what will come in the way of this dream now? Of 70,000 people? You know who will come in the way? Who will come in the way? Management or devotees, who will come in the way? Who will come in the way? Who?
Mentor.
Sorry? Huh? Okay, this is just I thought of now. In ISKCON, you should have a mentor. Mentor, not a tormentor. You figure out is a mentor or tormentor. Okay, I'll tell you who will come in your way of that, You will come in the way. So, I was on a coaching call with somebody and he said, don't let your mind talk you out of it. So, in fact, today is the day I'm speaking to you all. I'm also launching my course for coaches and speakers today on this holy day. Okay? And so what will come in the way, I'll tell you. So there are certain thoughts which hold us back. One is, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Me speak to 30,000 people. Okay, for me, it's taken me a lot of going through life. I used to be a very shy guy at one time. If somebody invited me for a birthday, I'll go to their house, then I'll find a corner, take a book and go sit in the corner and not talk to anybody. Okay, because I'm not good enough. And I went for this program to London where there were 14,000 people. And there was an international coach. He's working with one guy. And that guy says, so he told him, what do you feel? He says, I feel I'm not good enough. Okay. And then he says, how many of you in life feel you're not good enough? And there were 14,000 people. I thought maybe my hand is going up and not too many people. And almost all 14,000 hands went up. Almost all. So humans, see, when we are born, as kids, our well-meaning parents may say something, you're a useless guy, you're not going to do anything in life. Like I wouldn't study when I was a kid. My sister, I've got an elder sister, so she used to give me alternative occupations because I'm not studying. So if you don't study, you will be a car cleaner, sweeper, beggar, all kinds of, these are the alternative occupations if you don't study. You will be all kinds of demeaning words my sister used to use, and she pushed me. And then in 2 years, when I was the third standard, they were announcing results. And they were talking, and there were two boys next to me, very intelligent boys. And you know how people are modest. So the one guy saying, the guy was, you will come first. They were always the first rank holders. Then the other guy telling this chap, no, you will come first. And I was just looking at them like this. He will come first. Okay, maybe he will come first. And suddenly from behind, there was our teacher. She picked me up like this from here. Go! I said, where? And then I heard them calling out my name, and I stood first. Okay, with all that, maybe that my sister's coaching worked, she pushed me and it happened. And this is off the topic. Where was I talking about before this? Yeah, so what will come in your this mind is, I'm not good enough. Okay, I'm not me, 30,000 people. And then we have a mistaken sense of humility. Because somebody will say, boss, first of all, you're a fallen guy. Now we go through life, in childhood, parents would have said, you're a fallen guy. They don't use the word fallen, they'll say useless guy. Somebody would have said that. Well-meaning. Like my sister said, you will never do anything in life if you're going to go on like this. And then there'll be some friends who will put you down. You, man, this guy. They'll have nicknames. Kids will have nicknames. So they'll say, this guy looks like a monkey. Monkey. Or there'll be some nicknames. Everybody's got some nicknames as a kid. There'll be some demeaning nickname. So your friends, your parents, and teachers. Teachers in our time were ruthless. They will tell you how useless you are. We had a master in school. He would say, at least if you had mud in your head, we could cultivate it. Even mud is not there. Okay. So a famous thing. So then, first of all, we've grown in an environment like that where you're already thinking, I'm not good enough. Then you come to ISKCON. Now ISKCON, some devotee will preach to you inadvertently. He'll tell you that actually you're not good enough. Now then that belief now is solidified. Okay. So the belief, what happens? I'm not. So then we drift through life thinking I'm a useless guy. I'm not good enough. And ISKCON, you take great pride. If you say, no, Prabhu, me, I've got no good qualities. Kya banda hai yaar, ye to humble banda hai. See, no good qualities. So then you join a club of people who have no good qualities. A full group of people, and then you're admired for having no good qualities. Because you go around saying, Prabhu, I'm not qualified, Prabhu. मेरे को कुछ qualification है ही नहीं. Zero qualification. And people appreciate you for it. So all through life, actually the jiva wants some admiration. Now, he always felt he's not good enough. Now, for what he thought was a drawback, he goes through life getting admired for it. And you're in a spiritual movement. completely disempowered, you can't do anything, you're completely feeling useless, and at the same time, you're getting some admiration for it. Prabhu, I'm no good. And then, wow. So you're getting something out of something which is not working for you. Okay. So not good enough is going to get you. And people will tell you, I met one devotee once, he said, I said, how are you doing? He said, Prabhu, I'm doing something small, part of the humble story. Humility story ka aur ek hai. Prabhu, I'm doing something small. So I said, why are you doing something small? Do something big. When you are doing something, do something big. Why are you doing something small? Okay. So there are going to be a lot of things coming in your way. And I really recommend this very strongly, because if somebody has a dream like that, that I want a big stadium, I really recommend go after that. Go after that. Like while I'm talking, something in your heartbeat should quicken. Is it quickening? There should be excitement.
Burning.
Burning. Because it's not an ordinary dream. It's a beautiful goal. Don't let anybody on the planet talk you out of it. And what is the verse again? Verse. What's that? The lame can walk. Mukakaroti vacha.
Bangum langayati.
So you've got a whole lot of backing behind you. You've got your guru. You've got blessings from Vaishnavas. You've got Srila Prabhupada. You've got the whole parampara. You've got Krishna, who loves preachers. He says that in the Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. Who preaches? The shloka man who is most dear to me is one who preaches the Bhagavad Gita. So you're doing something which is so dear to the Lord, so dear to Lord Chaitanya. And this is such a valid, bona fide, validated dream and goal to have. Why only the Christians should do it? Once I gave class in the old temple, I showed them, there's a Christian preacher called Joel Osteen. He's actually built his own, like a stadium. It's a beautiful stadium and thousands of people are sitting there, So why we should think smaller than that? So nurture that. Nurture that. There are 3 levels on the way we function. We have empowering beliefs, we have disempowering beliefs. So there's one belief that I'm no good, I'm not good enough. That's one belief. There's another belief where people operate from, many people in the world, they say believe in yourself, correct? So you have a belief that you can do it and you will do it. But there's a more elevated method, a more elevated consciousness where you work as an instrument. Okay, you're depending on Krishna completely. And I was very surprised that there was a Karmi, coach who said this third level of depending on the universe, they use the word universe, is actually the most elevated. So if you see our Maharajas in ISKCON and everything, they're not depending on their mind. They're not depending on their mind or anything, because they are surrendered, every moment, and they're depending on the Lord for the Lord to speak through them. We had this big program in the palace grounds with Indra Dimna Maharaj. Sacred Vibes. So, and then Indra Dumya Maharaj was there backstage. And he's supposed to go on and speak to the crowd of, I think about 3,000 people. And before he's going, we saw him, he was praying and then going out there, Prabhupada himself, he prayed, let my words be effective. I'm going to a new country. Hare Krishna. Let my words affect them. So we should dream big. And there's an African saying, which says, pray and move your feet. There's an African saying, pray and move your feet. And then you start taking some steps in that direction. Okay. Now, one thing I noticed in our conditioning in ISKCON was so much about being a pure devotee that, even the sense of taste, you've given up, you're so pure. And we had this session in my house when Atul Krishna from Mayapur came. And one question he asked everybody, he said, what prasadam do you like? And for us, it was like a very sudden question, and hardly anybody came up, with answers. And I said, I love, khichdi and all that. So I'm going to put this question to you all, because I noticed this when Maharaj asked, he told one of the Mataji to cook sweet for the brahmacharis, and the entire your youth forum was there, and there wasn't a single answer. There wasn't a single answer. Nobody said what sweet they like. Because we have the ISKCON conditioning also, you know.
No, they said no. He said
Later it came.
we wrote the sweets they like.
Is it?
They're ready to, if you ask now, they'll give the list.
So very interestingly, I'll tell you, in ISKCON sometimes we are afraid to express what we like, what we, our desires, what is our personality, the way we are. Everybody is an individual. And and this was it was gone in my mind, wherever I go, I just feel devotees are not free to express themselves. They're a little repressed. A karmi guy will be very relaxed, casual, but a devotee will be a little repressed. He won't express what he likes. That's the atmosphere, especially in the Indian communities, I would say. And then many years later, I read in Manashiksha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book. Huh? Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur then wrote a commentary on that. Yeah. So there he mentions something very interesting. He says, if you deny your material personality, the way you are, we are talking about your personal desires, the way you are, your likes, dislikes. If you deny that, you actually head towards impersonalism. Because we are individuals. So in the Bhagavatam, there's a verse, I can tell you what it contains, but he can tell you the shloka, where Prabhupada actually mentions that even in the liberated condition, people will think differently. Because every soul is different. So it's very important to don't get lost in the crowd. So our individuality, you have to recognize that individuality in ourselves. You have to see that individuality, because that's the beauty of the soul. So everyone would want to serve in their own unique way. That uniqueness is your personal service to the Lord. So here Bhakti Tirtha Swami used to speak a lot on this topic, and he used to say that within our community, the leaders should give a lot of freedom to devotees to express their service in the way they want. And the other end is that there is a balance between freedom, a lot of freedom given to devotees to express themselves the way they want in serving Krishna, and in broad spiritual guidelines. So you need to have a border. So you need a border where you don't transgress. And one of the words he uses, it's not that everybody sets up their own religious movement. We are not in that game. We are not there. So we have a beautiful movement, and within that movement, you have to find your unique offering to Krishna. Okay, so that was one thing I was talking about. Okay, now I was talking about that space when we compare and feel bad about ourselves. That's a very disempowering state. You're not going to feel empowered, right? And I noticed this a lot in my journey, that many of us were going through these times where we feel, I'm not so good and things like that. So I have a little exercise for everybody. I want you all to think of, in your life, if you've done something, if you achieved something, what are the 3 qualities you had at that time which you admire? What are the 3 qualities you had at that time which you admire? Tell me 3 qualities, Prabhu. Any 3 qualities in yourself at some point in your life you admired? Okay, let me put it another way. I'll make it simpler. Right now, as we sit here, most of you will say, I have no good qualities, okay, right? That's our standard stuff in ISKCON. And then you're going to be pat on the back and say, lovely man, I love these guys who have no good qualities. I'm going to change that a bit, and I want you to think differently. So I actually want you to tell me what 3 good qualities you think you have. We'll tell you if it's not there, but you tell me now. Okay, we'll start with Vijay Prabhu. Which 3 good qualities? Which 3 good qualities you have? I'm driving this to a certain direction. Okay, it's going to be very transformational for you. Which 3 good qualities you have?
I can connect with any person.
Beautiful.
And I like varieties.
Varieties.
unless there is variety, I cannot accept it.
Yeah.
And third is to be philosophical.
Yeah.
To be philosophical.
That we know. Okay, now, who's Vijay Prabhu's closest friend here? Huh? Okay, you tell me now, which three qualities you think, good qualities he's got?
First two, what he said.
No, anything else you can think of? Oh, he connects well with people?
Yeah, he connects very well with people.
Yeah.
Second thing is he likes varieties.
Variety, okay.
Yesterday, even he has cooked Indian feast for our lecturers.
Yeah, okay, no.
There are 9 to 10 items.
Okay, third, he's a good cook.
Third thing is that he is very good friend.
He's a good friend. Okay. Vijay Prabhu, I want to ask you, in your life, have you been through this emotion of feeling a little low about yourself? You have been through that emotion? So now when we discovered your good qualities, what is your state of mind that time when you were feeling low, and what's your state of mind now that you have these good qualities? When we are discovering these qualities about you. What's your state? What's the difference in the state of mind?
Yeah, so usually when we are emotionally down, we forget how good I am. But as soon as we are
Reminded.
made to remember that these are the things that I have, we can easily come out of that emotional trauma and situate in a stage where we can move around happily.
It's more empowering.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, now what good three qualities you have, Prabhu? So actually Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati do this when devotees used to fight. Huh? He used to tell them, he said, no, tell me three good qualities about him. And they just had a big fight. And they said, this guy, good qualities, like, no good qualities, can't see any good qualities. Okay, he does some decent kirtan. So Bhakti Siddhanta do this, but so let's do it the same way. Okay, let me not ask him. People are shy to see. One very beautiful thing is, instead of going around feeling that I've got no good qualities, we can discover our strengths, and we can attribute that. Devotee gives the credit always, passes on the credit. So you can give the credit to Guru and Krishna that Krishna has blessed me with this quality. Okay, now I'm going to reframe the question now. What three qualities, good qualities, has the Lord blessed you with? You can't say He's not blessed me with any good qualities. Okay. So what three qualities has Krishna blessed you with, you think?
I can dance well too.
Very nice. Okay.
I can act nicely.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
I can play instrument to the
Which instrument? Mridanga. So our band is forming today. We have one person there who loves music. We've got somebody who can play an instrument. So we've got two people. Now we need somebody on the vocals.
And I am very eager to join.
Okay. Actually, the youth forum, I think in every temple should have a band. Okay. And you can have whatever talent you love.
There is no investment for instrument.
That you have to catch some rich grihastha. Catch some rich grihastha other than me. I give idea. Money you take from somebody else. Okay. So we're moving forward. We are actually discovering. Okay. So he sings. He dances well. He plays mridanga very well. What is the third thing? He acts very well. Now there's a danger to discovering all this. Now tomorrow this guy discovers it further. He'll end up in some Bollywood and Radhesham Prabhu will call and say, Prabhu, my youth forum strength is going down. One guy is gone to Bollywood. Correct. We've got one devotee in our congregation, Nagesh. You've seen him, the tall guy and very muscular and all that, Huh? I don't know, he's not an advocate. Is he an advocate? So he's a very hefty guy with great personality. Each arm is like equal to some 2 arms of mine, and very hefty guy. And he sings also very well. So I keep telling him, man, you have a future in the film industry, but don't forget 50%. इधर दे दो इतना पैसा करोड़ में कमाएगा इधर मंदिर को भूलना नहीं. Okay, I want to move on to 3-4 more people. Yeah. Okay, what about his good qualities, Prabhu? Somebody, what? Okay, you. Oh, that's a beautiful one. This is what I'm all talking about. Okay, when I'm looking at him and saying, Prabhu, what 3 qualities Krishna has blessed you with? Me? Perfect candidate to ask, okay? Perfect candidate to ask. Because this is what I'm talking about. We're going around thinking I have no good qualities. Prabhu, I'm talking to you. So, what good qualities Krishna has blessed you with?
The Lord has blessed me with a good height.
Ah, lovely. Correct.
I like, I'm good at chess.
Chess, okay?
I'm good at sports.
Sports. Okay, now there are 2 ways of looking at it, okay? There's a philosophical way of looking at it. Prabhu, height, that's about the body. You're on the bodily concept of life, okay? And there's one way of looking at it. Wow, he's got good height, man. If he's preaching somewhere, he's got personality. He's standing there and they're saying. Now, I'll give you the other argument also. But Prabhu, purity is a force. Okay, man, he's working on the purity. But use his height. You know, you need that personality also. He's good at chess. So chess guys, there's brain, strategy. So he can create strategy. The Prabhu, preach like this, preach like that. Okay, this like this will work like that. So there's a great thing. And what is the third thing? Sports. So that means he's got energy. The man has energy. So imagine you've got a guy who's got energy, he's got height, and he's got a strategic brain. What more? Wow. Was, huh? Correct. Okay. So I love those 3 qualities. Tell me, so how can you use those qualities? What do you see yourself doing 5 years from now? Those qualities of yours, how are you going to use in Krishna's service?
Use my mind for strategizing how to preach better and how to engage more people in Krishna consciousness, downloading it in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So I want everybody to think of what qualities, good qualities Krishna has blessed you with. And if you can't find those qualities, then give me a call. Okay, or you call Vijay Prabhu, because then we're going to find those good qualities for you. Because sometimes if you're really, the fully humble type, you can't find Prabhu. Good qualities, I don't have good qualities. You have to realize Krishna is not a miser. He's given, actually Prabhupada's quotation is there. Anant Vallabha told me, I told him once, I shared this with him, he said, hey, please, if you can find it. I didn't find it again, I just read it. Prabhupada mentions, Krishna has blessed everyone with some unique talent. Some unique talent. Krishna has blessed everyone and you should use in Krishna's service. So I want everybody to think about this very deeply. What good quality have you been blessed with? Okay? Yes. Anyone want to shout out? You're welcome to shout out. What good quality Krishna has blessed you with? Don't be shy. He's got some good quality. He's waiting to share that. I can see that on his face. You like to cook? Okay, fantastic. Haribol. We love you, man. You love to cook. You love to cook, we love to eat. Because only if you love to cook, what's the point? Then somebody to eat also, no? Okay.
Like heavy services.
Sorry?
Heavy services.
You like heavy services? Wow, we've got an army out here, man, which can change the city, the country.
I'm liking TT worship.
TT worship. Wow. Okay. Okay, Prabhu, what good qualities have you been blessed with?
Lord has blessed me with inclination towards philosophy.
Sorry, inclination.
Towards philosophy.
Philosophy, okay.
And good time management.
Fantastic, yeah. Somebody else help with the third quality. Who knows him well? Come on, before he comes out. Anybody? Which good quality he's got? Other than time management, inclination towards philosophy?
Submissive.
Very submissive. Be careful, huh? Okay, submissive is also good. Okay, great. So, anybody else wants to shout out? I'm seeing some faces which are getting excited now. From what good qualities you've been blessed with? Innovation. Engineering and innovation. Okay.
Electronics and
Electronics, okay. Internet. Social media? Not yet, okay. You know, Prabhupada was extremely innovative. Extremely innovative. So, Mahatma Prabhu once was telling me that Prabhupada was traveling in America, and he came across a church. There was a ignored, shut down church. And Prabhupada goes into that church and he sees all the church is made different from a temple. People don't sit on the ground, they sit on seats and then they kneel down, and you know, it's very different. And Prabhupada was so innovative in those days. He said, we buy the church and we keep the furniture as it is. For some people who want a different experience, they can come here and hear Bhagavad Gita classes and everything. So Prabhupada was extremely innovative. And I started saying, so youth has to be very innovative. In preaching programs, like if somebody goes out to talk to a bunch of businessmen, you can't dole out the same formula to everyone. Okay? So you go out, you're meeting people, ambitious people, businessmen, and you go tell them that anyway you're going to die. Okay, there's no point in your living. What's the experience that man goes through? We have to be sensitive to the emotional state of our audience. And our class, our preaching should be enlivening. I learned this again from a very senior Mataji who came to Bangalore, and at that time we went to the Hare Krishna Hill Temple, and the Vice President was giving a class. It was an extremely morose class, extremely, like, you'll feel after you get up, you'll say, what's the point in living? Like he said, yeah. Okay. So in ISKCON you'll come across some classes where after the class is over, you notice that your energy is like, oh my God. So he was giving a class. It's all, some true things, but it has to be put in a certain way. It says, one day you'll be lying on the floor. You'll be a dead body. Okay, this was the Vice President speaking, So one day you'll be a dead body. And everything in life is just decoration. It's in there in the Bhagavatam. Everything is decoration for a dead body. But the point is, what is there in the Bhagavatam has to be absorbed in a certain way. But then you don't start living your life like you're dead already. Okay, you're not dead yet. Yeah. So now at least you live, Okay, like that, that 3-hit song, Sari umr bhar mar mar ke ji liye, ek pal to fir hame jeene do. So there should be a sense of aliveness. So we know we're going to die, but there should be a beautiful sense of aliveness. So here I'm coming to another point where the way we absorb the Shastra, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, wow. So many devotees I meet, they turn 50 and they'll say, Prabhu, now old age has started. Correct? Old age is terrible. Old age, my knees are giving way. All that stuff goes on, Now I'm getting old. Prabhu, getting old, Prabhu. Correct? But Prabhupada never thought like that. Prabhupada starting a worldwide movement at the age of 70. So our founder he preached the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Yes, it's the truth. It's there in the Bhagavad Gita. All of us are going to get old. But until we get old. And so, see, sometimes certain things we absorb in such a way that it leads us to lamentation, which is nothing but a sign of Tamogun. Yeah. So it's very subtle. You don't realize how Tamogun creeps in. I had gone for a holiday once with my wife to Goa. We had gone for a wedding and we were staying and going on the beach. And suddenly this mood of extreme renunciation took over me. Okay? Like, anyway, everything is so temporary. Anyway, we're going to die. And I never realized nobody was there to coach me and tell me, boss, you're only going to Tamogun. Relax. Jump up, man. Do something. Correct? So it's very subtle how Tamogun can overcome us by reading something in the Shastra. So you have to see it in its complete perspective. Yes, we're going to die. But then how do we live before we die? Correct? Like for me, an inspiration has been the character of Ghatotkacha. Ghatotkacha, when he's getting killed on the battlefield, Bhima's son, so he actually rises in the air and expands, and then he says he's going to kill as many people as possible, and when he falls down dead. Okay. So next time somebody says, yeah, you're going to die, man. Yeah, so before I die, what am I going to do? Okay. So what am I going to do? So we have this, in 7 days, I was hearing Prabhupada saying, Prabhupada Maharaj, 7 days, we don't know, we have 7 minutes. Correct? So therefore our spiritual practice should be, like, I'm not living forever, so let me become Krishna conscious before I go. But what if you don't die in 7 days and you've got 7 years to live? I'm giving you all a different perspective. You have 7 years, you have 10 years, 15, 20 years. Because we are soldiers in Lord Chaitanya's army. So then what's the big plan for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? He's got the big stage plan. He's got the rock band plan. He's got the, who else are there? Yeah, he's got the instruments plan. So you should have exciting plans. So a very balanced thing is, yeah, I may die in 7 days, but I may live for another 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I don't know. Okay? And actually I pray to the Lord always, give me a very long life. I want to do some real big stuff before I go. No small stuff. Okay? It's not that because I'm a big guy, but there is some fire, there's something. And Krishna, please bless me. Let something happen through me. Okay? So don't let any moroseness overtake you. Okay, I had some more things for you all to write down. Yeah, one was your plans, one was your good qualities. Another thing was, okay, that we dealt with, what you're like. So your own personality, you should go home and try this exercise. What are the things you like? What are the things you dislike? Okay, then I had one more question for all of you all. I told you I've come to learn from the young guys. Now, supposing you were sent to Bangalore. Bangalore has got no temples, no devotees. You're the first person landing in Bangalore. Your spiritual master, your mentor, sends you to Bangalore and says, now you have to make Bangalore a Krishna conscious place, city. Yeah. Why I'm saying this is, see, all of us have mentors are in ISKCON, right? So sometimes you fully depend on them. There's no sense of ownership or responsibility. For Prabhupada, like he went, he's on his own. So then I used to have this a lot in my mind. Okay, somebody else will do it. Okay? Somebody else will do it. We were actually taught, if you don't do it, don't worry. Lord Chaitanya's movement will go on. You're not that important. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it. That's one way of looking at it. If you do, anyway, the movement will go on. So then, mera kya jawabdari? Kuch jawabdari hai nahi. So we should be humble enough to think that, yeah, otherwise somebody else will do it. And we should, at the same time, we should take a responsibility. So supposing you have to come to Bangalore city and set up something anew, completely new. There are just citizens here, no devotees here. Then what would you do? How would you go about it? There's actually like a small paper you all can write. Something, you can really think about this. Imagine you've come to Bangalore for the first time. And your guru has told you, now you go and preach Krishna consciousness in Bangalore city. So how will you go about it? I want you to do this homework, make a plan. Tell me, how do you reach out to people in Bangalore when you don't know anybody? How will you reach out? Harinam Sankirtan. Sorry? Book distribution. Prasadam. So actually we should work like in the next 3 months, all these ideas. Social media is a great thing. I actually said this, I think almost 8 or 10 years ago, that videos, people, devotees should be active and post stuff, and reach out to the world. So imagine you take responsibility. This is my project. Bangalore is my project. And start moving towards that. Make, some activity. Actually, great things are possible. My Guru Maharaj's biography, in the dedication somewhere it says, with Prabhupada's mercy, I forget that. If you can, it's a beautiful quotation is there, that with Prabhupada's mercy, impossible things can happen. So we are going with our own limited vision of ourselves. We are going with a very limited vision of ourselves, what I can do. So let's say we have a limited vision of ourselves which gives us humility and all that stuff which we buy. But the point is that we are in a place where we are dealing with factors which are much, much way above. We are dealing with Lord Chaitanya's movement. You are dealing with Prabhupada. And when you just set an intention and put in some effort, the results are mind-boggling. It is way beyond our means. Way beyond, things beyond our imagination. Actually, this is a miracle place. The Hare Krishna movement is a miracle place. You find a bunch of small kids coming together and doing something which is ridiculously big because Prabhupada's mercy is working. I met one devotee who had built the Siliguri temple. And you should have seen that devotee. I think his name was Brajaraj Prabhu, I think. A small built guy, very small built guy. And if you look at him, you may not have a second glance on him. But you go see that temple, it's a magnificent thing, you know. Our own temple here is like it's a miracle unfolded. And though I love to grab some attention and credit, okay, for it, but it's absolutely miraculous because it's not a bunch of 3-4 congregation guys, Madhusudan, Rakal, Anukul come together and manifest this. It's not. It has never been in our capacity. Frankly, it's never been in. And I would say I only had this intense desire, but as capacity to put this together. I mean, it's Prabhupada's mercy. We've seen how miracles have happened. So actually, we should really think big in Prabhupada's service, and some crazy things will happen. I mean, you will get surprised yourself that how did this happen, you know? And
We should have a session on those miracles of them.
yeah. So I'm saying to be an instrument, you should be willing. Don't block out the mercy thinking, no, I can't do it. Anyway, you're not going to do it. Don't relax, but get in and be an instrument, full of life, and get in and do something. Another thing we'll touch upon another day. I think we're running out of time. I want to touch upon our relationship with our careers. What kind of relationship we have with that, and our relationship with money. The way devotees look at money. We don't. Sometimes many devotees I feel don't have a healthy attitude towards money. They think it's Maya, or things like that. And in the careers, I remember talking to some devotee and saying, "I'm going to work." He said, "Oh, back to my material job." So we've been fortunate to get a lot of association from Prabhupada disciples, and one Prabhupada disciple told me, what is material? So what is material? Because I went through life for many years, this is material, this is spiritual. There was a dichotomy in my life, and I had to ask Prabhupada disciple, man, how do I solve this? Because the whole time I'm thinking, so this I'm doing material, this is spiritual. Okay. So this Prabhupada disciple told me a very beautiful thing. He told me, material is when something is disconnected from Krishna, then it is material. Otherwise, it's spiritual. And this association with senior, with Maharaj is that. Maharaj told me, he said, your work is devotional service. This is devotional service. So we need to look at our lives in a more complete package. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Any questions or any addition, comments?
In the beginning, you said about mistake and humanity, Prabhu. But now can we understand our great answer? Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Sikshashtama, I have no desire for something like that.
Yeah, that is all right. That's all right. Lord Chaitanya said, and we don't have too much desire, but somehow in the association, our desire stays alive. It's the truth that if you owe the desire for continuing to chant Hare Krishna only with the association of devotees. Actually, you owe everybody, all of us. We owe everybody this. They've done us a favor. They are there in our lives. So imagine if I'm not sitting with you all, I'm not with Bhakti Vinod Prabhu, and no devotees around, then very unlikely that we'll continue to chant. So we don't have that desire, inherent desire. The desire is kept alive with everyone around you. Actually, a devotee, there's a quotation which Mahatma Prabhu gave me once. He said, it takes a whole village to raise a child. So in Krishna consciousness, whatever we are is the sum total mercy which we've received from all the devotees. We've received so much mercy. Sometimes one saying in a class, a Maharaj says something, one sentence you get from somewhere, something from somewhere else hits you, some devotee says something, or just by looking at a devotee. I remember when I went to Vrindavan a few days back, there was a Mataji chanting in the Tulsi temple, which is the Tulsi Devi temple, and she was chanting so intensely. So that impression on my mind that people chant intensely. You're hanging around in the morning in the temple and chanting with devotees, and there's somebody who's just absorbed in the holy name. Everything is helping you. So we owe our Krishna consciousness the mercy of so many devotees, Right from the first step you took into ISKCON, somebody, brought you in, gave you a bead bag, and somebody helped you continue on that path. Any other question or comment, yeah, Prabhu?
First of all, I
very much, Prabhuji, because it's going out of the boundaries in where we think we ourselves are limited. It's
Yeah.
very important sometimes somebody pushes us to not think. So the question that I would like to, and also you're talking about today, this Mahatma Prabhu calls it as self-care.
Yeah.
Very wonderful seminar, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah,
Gives how important it is to feel good about ourselves.
yeah.
The question I had was that now in ISKCON scenario, it's very important that we keep the devotees who are also working outside also be connected to ISKCON in whatever way they can render service. But if we see the whole world that's going on, many times say our devotees say because of not getting jobs or what happens is they have to move out of the association. So
If they don't get a job, they have to move out.
in a sense, they have to go for, in a sense, when they don't get it, they have to look for the opportunities where
Elsewhere.
the association is deprived of. So that becomes very difficult for us to think of. So is that okay to see that because of their career they can take that, or are there any options that it's very important to be there in the thought process in ISKCON to think of that we can accommodate these people and set up a wonderful varnashram where the needs are being catered also, and at the same time spiritual life also can go on peacefully with that.
So it's a little complex. I didn't get you completely. Okay. So from what I gathered, one is how to keep a devotee in association. So there are two aspects here. One, he's supposed to move because of financial necessity, not getting a job in that area where there's no devotees. So I don't know if there are any areas like that which are completely devoid of devotees in our country, or there any country where you don't have any devotees at all. You can actually be specific which city or which country where you feel there's no association. Because I think now we are pretty widely spread. No?
So, I think of, like, say, for example, especially, say, when devotees have to take few jobs, they have to go to some villages, like, say, doctors. They have 1 year
Internship, yeah.
internship. After that, rural working also is there. They have to go for the rural work in the villages, and there is no association at all. And even that 1 year of internship also, the way they have the work hours for 30 hours, 40 hours at a stretch, where to get time to chant 16 rounds is very difficult. And even job like now, to think of the night shifts, day shifts, so much up and down, and especially in Bangalore, where the traffic is for 2 hours, 3 hours, and ask them to stay in the base or stay, and you go and come with the understanding of traffic, it's not possible at all. So then he has to go off.
Okay, so here I would really like to say that, see, Krishna consciousness for us is the most important aspect of our lives. So if the person is pretty groomed in Krishna consciousness, he should be advised not to take a job which is not going to give him adequate time. Krishna will arrange something. So I met this devotee a few days back, and he was working in an NGO, a Christian NGO, and he was extremely well paid. He was getting like 3 lakhs a month. But the point is that NGO was teaching people on how to raise poultry and kill them and stuff like that. So he called me and said, like, what do I do? I was like, I'm feeling like really disgusted. I told him, you should leave that job. You should have that faith. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna.
Why I'm asking you, Prabhuji, because you also are in the field, outside field.
Yeah.
So many times we are unaware of it. But since you are in the field and you also know many of the people, they take risks to go out of the boundaries than have just narrow-minded thinking that this is only the way that I can sustain myself. So how do we take that aspect? Because now telling them don't do that without telling what to do is a bad mark from a devotee telling don't do this.
Yeah, so we have to take a very a practical view on things. Understand, see, I cannot tell you exactly until I know the real situation. Actually, this is the city, this is the work, this is the aptitude, qualification of the person. But in a broad guideline, it's best that one molds his life. That's the term Prabhupada keeps using all the time. Molds his life in such a way that he can have his spiritual sandwich. Morning Hare Krishna, end your day with Hare Krishna. In between, Prabhupada, when he finishes 16 rounds and says, now I can do what I want. I know you use the word hell, what the hell I want. But somebody said, no, I can do. So in our grooming also, Madhu Pandit once asked this question, should I try to do this, should I try to do that? He said, do your 16 rounds and then do what you want. What you want, not anything sinful, but then, so those 6-8 hours of work or whatever, and mold it intelligently. See, there also, Prabhupada mentioned, somebody told me once that lazy intelligence is the best. There's a book, I bought the book from an airport, I have not read it yet. It's called the 4-Hour Work Week. The 4-hour, that means you work only 4 hours a week. That's it. So, especially today, there are very intelligent ways, there are extremely intelligent ways of working with minimal time, which will free up a lot of time. The time management guru is here, which will free up some time, a lot of time for you to be very Krishna conscious and yet be extremely successful. See,
Completely unaware of project. Business.
okay, now I'll share something with you. All of us exchange our time for money. People who are working. How many people are working or you're not working, right, Vijay Prabhu? Yeah. So everybody else is working. So you're exchanging time for money. Your talent plus time and you get money. Okay? So this is labor in a way. Intelligence would be to exchange somebody else's time for more money. A businessman, the way he operates, is exchanging somebody else's time for money. Okay? Now I am starting these online courses, which some devotees are already doing and very successful. In an online, we are going into a business topic. Krishna, please forgive me. But I'm saying it's very useful because now there's no duplication of time. At one time, if you're doing something online, you do it one time and then there's a automatic duplication due to the internet. Then you're not giving your time. If you have 10 customers, but you're doing the activity just once, then you have to use intelligence like automation. So sometimes devotees discourage other devotees like don't work too much. Actually, you don't have to work too much. Use intelligence. You don't have to work at all. Honestly, I'm still working in my business. So there was one mentor, he said, don't work in your business, work on your business. That means you set up, you make systems, and then the systems work. And Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavatam, the verse you can tell us. Now we have going to test him, he knows all the verses or not. Prosperity does not come by man's effort alone. It comes with the blessing of the Lord. Okay. I don't know where it is. So prosperity doesn't come by man's effort alone. So you think, I'm going to work, I'm making money. Tell me another story. So prosperity doesn't come by man's effort alone. There's a blessing of the Lord. So if one one should really desire that Krishna, this is how I want to give so much. I want to give a lot of time to you. And who's the master of time? Krishna. So he's going to make it possible. 100%. There's no doubt about that. If a person's desire is intense, in Krishna consciousness, he's an intense desire that I want 4 hours to read a day, I want 2 hours to read, I want to go and preach. Krishna will make the ultimate arrangement. PrabhuJi, Krishna will make the ultimate arrangement when we read. Huh? No, I deliberately asked this question to Prabhu because many years ago, Prabhu, please come, no, Prabhu, it's incomplete, we don't hear your voice. Please come, Prabhu. Come. If Prabhu is in the room and we don't take wisdom from him, kya fayda hai yaar hamara? Prabhu, please come, Prabhu. Please take your seat. No, come here and take a seat. I'm not that bad. You can share. No, they got a big one, Prabhu. Please, I want you here. Please come.
First of all, you tell me who convinced him to come and give a class here.
You push me.
You going to make him repeat that?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Well, what should I speak about?
No, I'm saying, I told them that if somebody has a desire, he had a question that, workplace, situations, don't allow people to chant. How do they handle those situations? I said, if somebody has a sincere desire, Krishna will give the program. Don't worry, you want to give that time, Krishna will make it possible.
We have a sloka in Upanishad. Krishna, in Upanishad we have a sloka. Krishna has his hands and legs everywhere. How do we understand that? All of you put your hands up. All of you shake your leg. That's Krishna's hands and legs. Right? What does you mean by Krishna's hands and legs are everywhere? What do you mean by? Because we are his part and parcel, no? Our hands and legs are Krishna's hands and legs. What is the meaning of Nitya Krishna Das? As long as Krishna is in your heart, your body is automatically going to be controlled by him because you accepted him, no? What is the meaning otherwise? Krishna has hands. What is the sloka? Sarvatra Pani Padam. What is that? This is in the Vedas also. This Upanishads also. That verse is there, no? Krishna's hands and legs are everywhere. What do you mean? From where are these legs and hands? What to speak of human beings, Krishna's hands and legs can be on the animals also. For example, the cow, elephant, in Dolaka, all the animals are there. Otherwise, what is the meaning of part and parcel of Krishna? So many planes fly in the sky, but there is everywhere there is a ATS who controls all the planes. The passengers are different, the destination is different, but when they pass through that airport, he is the boss. He says what to do. The planes belong to different companies, different people, pilots are different, passengers are different, destination is different, everything is different. But it doesn't matter which plane it is. This guy is the controller till his area. You have to follow what he says. ATS bolte na. Correct. You have to follow him. It doesn't matter which center you go. Which city you go, you are not wondering about which city you should go or not go. As long as there is somebody to tell you what to do, very practically. Prabhupada said we should do practical devotional service. Beginning, we should do actually practical. Then he says, confidential devotional service. Then loving devotional service. Unalloyed devotional service. Pure devotional service. Spontaneous devotional service. But everything starts with practical devotional service. Do something practical. So that is, you can do as it is, where it is. No? Like that. So we can start, that's why Prabhupada says you don't have to prepare to become a rich man, learn Sanskrit, become educated, learn all the Bhagavatam sloka, then only preach. He didn't say all that. You start as it is where you are. Therefore, it's instantaneous. That is why he could get help from everyone. He could draw everybody and you could engage everybody. Why did he say Krishna has sent you? What does that mean? That means your hands and legs and brain are Krishna's. Krishna is using it. Well, that's the meaning of Krishna has sent you. Otherwise, what is the meaning? Krishna has sent you. So how do we connect to Krishna? We connect to Prabhupada, who can see us and who can see Krishna. He can see you and he can see Krishna. That's how we are connected. Tattvadarshi, he can see you and he can see Krishna. So he's connecting. Actually, I'm telling you, the situation in the world is going crazier and crazier and crazier. When the movement started in US, and devotees were wearing dhoti and all that. So many people thought, why are you wearing a blanket? That's what they said. Why are you wearing a blanket? Some people say, when you distribute books, some say, why don't you get a job? Some people will say something more. They'll say, why don't you get a life? This is not life. They said, go get a life, they'll say. What? They thought, we have no life. Go get a life, they'll say. And they did not know as much as you know. Because the very early days, books were not there, temples were not there, very early days. But still they went on. Get a life, they said. But yesterday Maharaj was telling us, tell others get a life. He was saying, tell others get a life. The point is how well we are able to combine and think of collective, individual. Both ways. So use your experience, use your aspiration, how to bring. Prabhupada could bring people, yuktasya bhaktamscha. So you didn't have to make any effort. Prabhupada was bringing everybody and gave a project. How many of you read that book, I'll Build a Temple? I'll build you a temple, by Giriraj Swami? No one has read it. No time, right? No time for Prabhupada. That's where you get inspiration. Prabhupada's whole life is inspiration. What amazing achievement the Juhu temple is. Because that was Prabhupada's first baby. He had the temple in his mind for so long, much before he went to America. And that was his first baby. And what a struggle it was, and what a victory it was. Prabhupada was he's ecstatic when it happened finally. Actually, Prabhupada shed tears. Once, one of the devotees in Bombay who is still there now, he saw one instance, he saw Prabhupada was on a low table. He had his hands like this on the table, and there was the Juhu blueprint, the plan, architect's plan for the Juhu temple. The blueprint was on the table, and Prabhupada had his hands like this on the table, and he had some royal guests, and some other people were also there and all that. And Prabhupada was talking to those people and all that. And one devotee who is connected to the project, he came. And he told Prabhupada, we could not get NOC, no objection certificate. He told Prabhupada. Might have just told his ears, I don't know how he told. When Prabhupada had his hands on the table, then he put his head down. He was sitting here with the hands there like that, and then he put his head down. And devotees noticed that 2 tears fell on the blueprint from Prabhupada's eyes. Tears fell because he just heard no objection certificate. They could not get. Then Prabhupada said, Krishna, will your temple be only on the blueprint or it will ever be built? I asked, prayed to Krishna. Before he prayed, he told Krishna, give me this land, I'll build you a temple, marble temple. But now he said, Krishna, will your temple be only on the blueprint or will it ever be built? So the title of that article was, Pure Devotees' Tears Don't Go Waste. You have no idea what a struggle it is. You have no idea. That land was sold to 2-3 people and one other person was also sold to. And Prabhupada had direct interaction with another person who also had given money to that guy. So that guy came and said, I have given him money, so I should get my money back. And Prabhupada said, he said, I gave 5 lakhs. Prabhupada said, my claim is first, I have given him 8 lakhs. But that man was surprised. He said, he also talks business like that. Then he told Giriraj Swami, your Guruji is pakka, he said. Like that he said. So Prabhupada used all his talents in making sure the Jew temple will happen. Everything he put on that. Everything he put on that. Including praying to Narsingadev. Can you imagine how it is? What I mean to say is that how we will get inspired? How can, from where everybody gets inspired in this world? From Prabhupada. So therefore, not just read, but realize and express in your life like that. So I want to thank Madhusudan Prabhu for taking his time and coming here. He keeps talking to me, I keep talking to him. But he has this ambition that we should not just do things mechanically. We should not just follow philosophy mechanically. We are a living force. Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. The living force is Krishna. The living force is me. That is Krishna. Right? Indriyanam, he says, Manasasmi Indriyanam. Mind. I am the mind. So we have mind, we have living force. It's all Krishna's. Hands and legs, everything Krishna's. How can you go wrong? Krishna is Achyuta. How can you go wrong when you surrender to him? Whatever project. And Prabhupada always said, failure is not a problem for devotees. Because you are given to Krishna yourself, then where is the question of failure? Like Hanuman. Where is the question of failure? Everything was wonderful. Why do we read all these things? But you have to get on the track. No, you can be training for Olympic medal, but you have to be in the race. You train, or not in the race. What is the point? No. You can start from wherever you are. Krishna will accept any devotional service. You can start from wherever you are. According to your capacity, Prabhupada said, devotees should be engaged slightly above their capacity, so that they don't feel frustrated. That can be individual also, that can be collective also, that can be team-wise also. But take up a project, like he said. How you will do it? Take up a project. Otherwise, somebody will push you to do it. It will happen. Then you won't feel good. But I don't mean to say that you take a project before you get to know what is Krishna consciousness. I don't say that. You get to know what is Krishna consciousness and start from wherever you are. But be part of it. Do something, because time is going. You are crossed 25, 30 probably. Everybody has crossed 25, 30. Like that. Somewhere you have to hold your ground and say, I'm going to do this. I only had 2 things to do when I first came to ISKCON. It was not a problem. Swadanna Triptan Haribhakta Sangra. I had a very practical, doable goal. What? But I was holding on to it. I never left it. So wherever I went, I was getting that. That was very simple to get. So where I was going after that. Even that helps. Like that, you got experience going everywhere and seeing everything and doing it. So when they pushed me to Chandigarh, even though I was not very willing to go, but it happened. Because I went to Chandigarh after 22 years in ISKCON. After 22 years doing nothing. What? And I was given Diksha because Maharaj said, Bhaktivinoda has been too long in the movement, now he cannot go back to his home. That was my qualification. I won't go back now. That was the qualification. Like that. So I also said to many people, nobody can find any use for me. In other words, I'm useless. Only Krishna can find some use. What? Only? And Krishna waited patiently for 22 years. Because that was the deal with Krishna I made. First 20 years, you do what I want. Next 20 years, I'll do what you want. And I went anywhere and everywhere. But it was a good experience wherever I went, whatever I did, good experience. So when I had to get into doing something in a place which was, practically there was no president for 3 years in that place before I went. No president in that place. He had a car accident and he was in the hospital for a couple of months. He was not even conscious. And it was very difficult for him to come back. So then Maharaj made me go there. Even though I went reluctantly, but because of the experience, the confidence, I picked up and started and went well. Then after that, 2-3 more temples came in that area. Now they're planning in a couple of months to open the big, we have already one temple in Ludhiana, in the city. Outside the city, they have built a very big temple. They're planning to open in October or something, I hear. So big temple has come up in Ludhiana. So like that, Ludhiana was already famous for Rath Yatra. Most of you must have heard about Ludhiana Rath Yatra like that. Actually, the Jagannath Puri tug of war happened because Ludhiana Rath Yatra became so big. So they became little, upset about it. And we were also saying too much about Ludhiana Rath Yatra like that. We were talking too much about it. Then the local Oriya group became upset also because we were doing like that. What I mean to say is that things happen, but we also have to do in a very nice way. Along with the society, we should go along. Otherwise, we'll make enemies. So, Satyam Bruyat, Prem Bruyat. We should do things properly and nicely in a happy way. But we should never be shy or hesitate to do that. All of you are young people. All of you know more than what I knew when I joined. I practically knew nothing when I joined. I read a few books. I read some BT magazines and all that. So there's big.
Some of them know more than what I know after 30 years.
So
Yeah,
you're done. What is it?
theoretical.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
everybody. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. It was a nice experience to have His Grace Madhusudan Hari Prabhu and Bhaktivinoda Prabhu here. So I was feeling like, the session that Jamon was giving to Hanumanji. We are all, practicing our Krishna conscious devotional service. But we don't have to repress ourselves, or we don't have to become depressed about our, the so-called conditioning and things like that we have, and keep thinking about those things. So, Prabhuji has given very nice things that, actually we should be happy about, all the time. And Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita that it is a duty of every devotee to be happy. And when we can be happy, when we really accomplish something for Krishna, and Prabhuji has nicely enlivened us in that matter. So let us express our gratitude and, heartful thankfuls to Prabhuji.
See, you better be nice to this guy. Later you won't get to meet him. Because his goal is like, a big stadium. Okay, you need to bless him also. Everybody? Very well. No, I had this in mind to make him go through that experience. Let's say there are 30,000 people in front of you. How will you stand and how will you speak about this?
Hare Krishna!
Put your chin up a little. Hold the mic. And you're talking to
Yesterday Maharaj said no, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada would look like this.
Because I'll never be defeated.
Hare Krishna! So let us thank, His Grace Madhusudan Hari Prabhu by loudly one time chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
another few years we're going to see him on stage. We're going to see him on stage. Very well. So all of you are good with that? Are you satisfied with that? Everyone has to have a big dream. Not only him. On different stages. He'll give us also a chance. Okay? But I can see him there, 30,000, 50,000 people. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Shri Prabhupada said. Correct? Shri Prabhupada Vacha. So we've got a great team here, frankly. See, y'all are I don't want to say future, because future then we'll say, okay, after 5 saal baad kuch karenge. You've got a strategist, you've got music players, you've got kirtaniyas, and more than anything, all of y'all have something of great value in your heart. What's that? The desire to do some service. Keep that desire alive. Have a positive psychology and go for doing something. Book distribution, preaching, social media, online presence, building a temple. The list is endless. Okay, so and find your own happiness and fulfillment in the movement. You have to find your own sunshine. They say find your place in the sun. There's a quotation, you find your place in the sun. So you have to carve out your own space in ISKCON. Okay. Have a great life, guys. Looking forward, okay. Haribol. Thank you.